Welcome to another episode of Speak, Lead, Connect podcast, where stories of courage, transformation, and leadership come to life. I'm your host, Dr. Lorilet Monegro, and today we're diving into a story that beautifully blends resilience, creativity, and the courage to start again. My guest is Ana Karen Viramontes, who was born in Zacatecas, Mexico, and now calls New Jersey home. She holds a bachelor's degree in international business and administration from Universidad Politécnica de Aguascalientes in Mexico, and currently works in administration and student services at a career advancement institute in Bergen County. Karen's path has been anything but linear, from working in human resources and academic coordination in Mexico to serving as an au pair in New York to finding her footing as an administrative professional and community connector in the United States. Her journey is one of transformation, proving that professional growth and personal healing often go hand in hand. Today, she opens up about what it means to rebuild identity in a new country, discover purpose after uncertainty, and choose inner peace over external validation. Karen, welcome to Speak, Lead, Connect. It's such a pleasure to have you here. So, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for this introduction about me. I feel so happy to be here with you today and grateful to this magnificent opportunity to speak.
Oh, it is my joy. I mean, thank you for saying yes. I know that sometimes people don't want to talk about anything in life, and life just happens for us and then it ends. So,
Yeah.
us a great service and supporting the mission of the podcast, which is bring all these stories to life, especially immigrant stories of women such as yourself. So, Karen, I'd like you to take us back to Zacatecas. And, what are some of your earliest memories that shape your sense of identity and resilience, right? Because you have an interesting story to tell, and I kind of want you to take us like from the beginning.
Yeah, of course. Well, Zacatecas is a pretty small city in Mexico. Is Zacatecas is a state, but it's also the capital. Is a small city. So it's in the center of whole Mexico, and all my family is from there. And I have my grandparents there, all my uncles, my aunts, cousins. I have a lot of family that still live in there. And I have a really familiar environment growing up. Um, they always really close to religion, and we have these really cultural things around us like Christmas and Dia de Muertos and all the birthdays. So I have a lot of tradition in my family. uh, Also, well, during my, I would say, teenager era, well, we never have like a lot of money in my family. We're just like basic, regular, and we struggle a lot during my teenage life. My dad has to find like new job, and my mom was the one who keep the family like grow and go. So she handled the things pretty good for, I would say, probably 2, 3 years.
Mm,
So she taught teach me how a, a girl can manage a whole family and
mhm,
be the provider. And I think in that time she has to make a lot of decisions for the benefit of all of us.
mhm,
And one of the good decisions she made was to move to another state. Nobody wants that. No, I didn't want to do that. My dad doesn't want to do that, or family. Nobody wants us to leave, but it was necessary to grow and continue with our life.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom encouraged my dad to move out and look for a different job, and we moved. We moved to the north of Mexico, which is Piedras Negras, Coahuila. This is
Mm-hmm.
the border with
Mm-hmm.
Mexico and USA.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big change. And um, for me, especially, was really hard that change because
Mm-hmm.
people is really different there. And we were alone, just the five of us, my mom, my dad, my two brothers, and I. We
Mm-hmm.
were there alone and with different culture, different kind of accent, how to speak Spanish, and everything
Mm-hmm.
was so different.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of struggled the first year, but my family still live there. My brothers grew up there, so they love Piedras Negras. But we always have Zacatecas in our heart, and we try to all the time to bring all the traditions there in Piedras Negras and celebrate as we were celebrating Zacatecas. And yeah, we try to continue traveling around to Zacatecas and Piedras Negras, and now they come here to visit me because I never liked Piedras Negras. So the first moment I had to escape, I just come here.
Said, ciao. See you later.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, thank you for sharing that. It's interesting, right? Within the actual country itself, how people are different, north versus south in terms of their particular ways of expressing their identity and
Yeah.
culture. And so this is very interesting because you also had to be very resilient through that process. And even though you didn't like it, you also understood that it was for your betterment, right? Like we say in Spanish, "Ay, por mi mejoría hasta mi casa dejaría," which is
Yeah.
literally what you guys did. You left your home for your
Hmm.
own betterment. And, that takes a lot of courage. And people who don't have to do that because they either have everything they need right where they are, or they're not immigrant to an outside country because they've never had to leave anywhere, may not fully understand the courage that it takes for someone to pick up and actually say, I need better, I deserve better, I can find better, there's possibilities somewhere else, and to actually believe and trust that to the point that you uproot your family, which is exactly
Yeah.
what your parents decided to do. But you feel good in the sense that you were able to change from
Yeah.
the limiting conditions that you were in at the time. So, thinking about some of the things you had shared with me when you shared your biographical sketch, you described yourself as a creative, like this adventurous and determined person, and I can see why. How did you, how did those qualities basically show up in the early years before you even left Mexico? Because you're now here in New Jersey, but just that migration, right? Just thinking of that shift, those qualities had to be in you, right? This determination, being adventurous, willing to try new things, being creative. Um, Tell me a little bit about how that was something you still exercise while also in Mexico.
Yeah, of course. Well, first, yeah, those are the three words that I describe myself as:
Yes.
creative, determined, and adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So that little adventure started when I was pretty little. My grandma always had these little trips to USA,
Uh-huh.
and I got my visa like 8 years old, and I always go with her. So my grandma and I in a bus, like for a day and a half, just
Mm-hmm.
traveling and see all the views, Mexico to Phoenix, Mexico to California. So it was like just a desire that I had every year to go with my grandma and just travel to USA. So I think that started there. Like when you go to another country, doesn't matter the age, you I don't know, your perspective is different. Your view is different about everything, a lot of aspects. But that kind of grew there, started there when I was around 8 years old. And then when I was ready to start college, because I moved to Zacatecas to Piedras Negras, and then I didn't want to study there. I want to go out to a bigger state or better city. So I started looking for different opportunities in other states. I
Hmm.
wanted to go to Monterrey in a big,
Hmm.
huge university, really famous university here in Mexico. I mean, um, and I really desire to be in the university. That's I'm really determined. What I what I want is I'm going through that. So I tried to get in 3 times and I get
Oh,
rejected 3 times. So it was really hard and really kind of painful in that time because I was really smart at school. So I was like, I cannot believe I cannot enter because they saying I'm not good enough, but I know I'm good enough because I know.
this is interesting perspective, and thank you for being so vulnerable, right? Because it was that feeling of rejection where you were like, "Wait, what is going on?
Mhm.
Why am I not getting in? Not once, not twice, but 3 times." Like, wait, every time you're
Yeah.
saying no, wait, and you're like, "But I know I'm a good student." Just hearing you, it's one is humbling, but also at the same time, you're such a kind person that you're willing to express that. Sometimes people, their pride gets in the way. Now, thinking about that, how did you basically, manage? Because I guess being so determined, so what gave for you at that point in time?
Oh, wow. It was really hard because I have a dad who always, I mean, I'm the older and the only girl. So I have a lot of pressure, kind of. So all my friends goes to university except me. I was the only one there. So I take 1.5 years doing nothing, just working. And my
Yes.
dad was here telling me like, why are you not at school? Just get it to another school. Look, your friends are there and you're not. Like you're failing. What is going on? It was a lot of pressure, but at the same time, I don't want to do something that I just don't want it. I wanted that
Yes.
university, so I put all my effort to, and I worked during all that year. I traveled to 3 different states to have different, like little jobs, save money, and then pay extra courses to get more knowledge and get navigate more to the exams that this university had. And yeah, I was studying a lot, working a lot, and still not get it. So at one point, I
Oh.
was so frustrated, not because it wasn't on me. I know I was sure I have the intelligence and the capacity to get in a university, but it's something about that. I mean, in that time I thought it's not my fault, it's university's fault. So what I started doing in that time, I went to the church and go to see if I can get like an answer, like why I'm not getting, and if I'm putting all my faith and all my effort and everything I have on that. Why can I get it?
Hmm.
So yeah, in that time, God helped me a lot to discover um, that sometimes it doesn't matter if you plan. He's the only to have the answers. So he has the path for you already. So I just let the things happen and I say, okay, I have to continue. Don't lose my time because I already lose like 1.5 years. So I just start applying for different university around Mexico. I just
Hmm.
say like, okay, let's do it. I sent a bunch of applications, and I got in one specific. Actually, the first university who sent me the request that I was accepted, that was the first university I get in. Like, I was okay, this one answer first, I'm going to that one then.
Right. Okay. But you kind of realize and reconcile the thoughts around that and realize, okay, maybe this is not really where I'm
Hmm.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
The good thing is in this whole process, you never felt that you weren't the one. And that matters because, many times young people give up. They give up
Mhm.
altogether. You did not give up. You pivoted. You said, you know what? At the end of the day, I want to go for this degree. I'm not going to let anything get in the way of me getting my higher education. And you pursued it, even if it wasn't in that particular school. Now, I
Mhm.
know that you earned a degree in international business and administration. Like, what initially drew you to that field of study? Because that's a very specific, kind of uh, focus for you to
I
go into.
know. It was really weird to get into that degree because when I was little, I always said I want to be an architecture, I want to be a chef, I want to be a lot of things, never administrator. And then I was just having my balance, like what I'm good at. I have my parents, they are, how can I say in English?
You can say it
They,
in Spanish.
let me see in Spanish, químico, farmacéutico, biólogo.
Oh, wow, very science-based, right? So
Yes,
they're chemists, pharmaceutical companies, and
and biology.
biologists.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
So
that's a very scientific approach.
I know, and I always love biology and chemistry, but biology was like whoa for me. I I was good on this topic about genes and DNA and all these mixtures, and I was so amazed by that topic. And I knew I was good at it because all my exams were 10. But in the other side, I like to organize people and work with friends and have these reunions and organize everything and plan everything and have my little notebooks and have a lot of lists what I have to do and what's next month.
Hmm.
So I have these two sides, and then I question myself, why should I study what
Hmm.
I really want, what I really like, which is this administration side, or study what I'm good at it, which is biology and all that thing. So at the end, I decide to go what I like, which is administration, and I do not regret it. I like it a lot, and I start my university life in Aguascalientes, which is other state close to
Hmm.
Zacatecas.
Hmm.
So my parents, they live in Piedras Negras. When I decide
Hmm.
to study university, I've moved to Aguascalientes.
Hmm.
I start my independent life there. I
Yeah.
studied for 3 years in the university, and I love every subject in there. Everything was really
So
kind of,
awesome.
yeah, like I was really into every single topic of my classes. But then I start realizing that I'm also really good at creating things.
Hmm.
Everything that comes to my mind, I want to see here, made something. So I love to paint. I love to draw. I really like to just create whatever it is. So I started this little business. It was a handmade designs and painted in denim jackets.
Hmm.
And I use different techniques to paint, but the
Hmm.
most that I like is acrylics and textile fabric paint.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this business I handled it for 2 years, and it was such a blessing to have that moment of my life
Hmm.
because helped me a lot in the university because I have to do a bunch of projects. So other students have to look a company to do those projects, but I have like my own little company. So I did all my projects in my little business. So
Hmm.
that was really good to have in the moment. And I discovered a lot of abilities with my hands and with my um, head to create and just transform clothes and give it to the customers, and you connect with people what you're thinking, and then you do it, and then people likes what you do. So that's such a good connection that you make with people, and you start learning what the customer wants, what they looking for. And yeah, these all designs were personalized, customized, so there were the only piece in the world for them to have
Mhm,
wearing that jacket.
mhm.
So yeah, that was my
I really like everything you're sharing here because, I'm just thinking about how you went into totally very different worldview compared to what you were raised to be around your parents. And I'm just thinking, those university years, you working in this administrative component and business and all of these different things, right? As you're basically on these humanistic roles, but they're more business oriented, yet you made it very creative because you chose, right, that these early experiences you were having were going to have a deeper meaning and you kind of tap into that creative side. And, I'm just thinking about how I always talk about leadership, right? Like, what did those early experiences teach you about leadership and working with people? Like, if you had to kind of summarize a little bit of that takeaway from all that, because that's not something we talk about and often is not even captured um in like master's or bachelor programs, they don't talk about it in that sense, but that's
mhm.
a form of leadership you were exercising independently.
Yeah, that's very true. Like I think um you have to have a specific skills to be leader, because a leader is when you act in the correct way so the people wants to follow you. So I think you really have you need to have this deep connection with people, and yeah, you have to manage a work together. You have a project to do together, yes. But I also you have to worry about the people who's working with you to be a good leader. And I mean, not in the sense like I'm gonna be in your personal life, but about your needs, about your perspective of the project, of the company, of the thing we're doing together. So if you worry about that and you be more awareness of what they feel, how they feel, oh, I think that's the clue to be a good leader, to be a good listener, and um, be really fair with everyone around you,
Mhm.
and give the example, of course, because you cannot tell what to do if you're not doing it first. So do
Yep.
a good example. That's the
Yeah, I
clue.
mean, it's just incredible how you went on, from struggling with different things to then moving to then pursuing this higher education degree to actually trying to make your own money through your own business by hand making things, right? Because you're like, okay, I got to make this work. I got to figure it out. I got to make the money. I got to, and you're there to study international business, right? And you're there basically and administration, but you're actually doing hands-on experience because you're doing all of that. You're doing the business side, you're doing the administration, and you're doing all of these entrepreneurial experiences and leadership component. I mean, that must have impacted your confidence and sense of independence. I mean, there's no way you could not come out of such a situation more independent and more confident, in your own ability, more so than having
Yeah,
any degree.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I feel like I can eat the world just with a one bite. I feel like I was unstoppable and I can do whatever I want. And of course, having my own money and just invest in my little business to still growing. And and plan for the future. That was giving me such a independence, like the best years of my life where I experienced that. And also living alone was like I need these skills to administrate my time and my money and
Hmm.
everything. So yeah, it was such a good experience that I learned so much, not just about school, about life.
Yeah, so important as, you're evolving and just, becoming this young woman. And I think a lot of the young people, when they watch this, they can get an idea of all of these different processes that you had to plan out too. There was planning
Mhm.
involved for you to be able to manage all of that, the time, the money, the way you were going to survive. So planning is key. Now, in 2021, if I'm correct, when
Yeah.
I read on your bio, you said that you made that bold decision, right? Because that's bold. You've been moving around, but you made a bold decision to move to the United States as an au pair.
Yeah.
And, you know, what motivated you basically to just take that leap of faith? Because that's like a leap of faith. You were coming now, not just like, oh, I'm visiting here, kind of sort of see you. No, now you were more of a person who's immigrating here, who has to stay like for a long engagement, Wasn't like I come here for a few days, how cute, how nice. Um,
Yeah.
but what motivated you basically to take that leap of faith?
I think, well, I graduate in pandemic. So, like, I think a lot of people feel kind of trapped. And I kind of feel also pretty loose in my path, like, no having this clarity of what I want and what I want to work for. Because at that time, I was working for a firm, a law firm. I was receptionist, but at the same time, I was a personal assistant for
Mhm.
the lawyer. But I was not really happy there. I like it, but no, my field, not really what I wanted to do. So I just was really bored at bed, scrolling in my phone, and I started watching this girl who was au pair in New York, and she was explaining all this experience and how good it is, and at that time, I wanted to improve my English too, because I knew English, but it wasn't good because I wasn't like able to practice enough. So I start
Okay.
just clicking the website to see what is an au pair and what is this company. And sounds really attractive to me at the first sight, but then when I see the prices was really expensive. And of course, my parents they would not give me that money just for traveling like a rich girl, have experience and then come back. Like there's no way my parents are going to support the idea.
Hmm.
But something inside me told me, do it. If you want it, just do it. So I believe that when you really want something, money is not a boundary. You can find money under the rocks if you really want to do something. And I did that. So I collect the money by my own, and then I do all the process. And then I had the interview with the embassy, and then I told my parents. I have the
Wow.
interview.
You didn't say that part, but wow. Okay.
They give me the visa, so I'm leaving in 3 months to New York.
Whoa.
And my parents there, like, what? Are you serious? Like, yeah, I have everything. I have the money, I have the visa, I'm leaving. And then, well, it's good point to tell that in that time I had a boyfriend who was my boyfriend since I started university. And all that process, he's been my boyfriend when I decide to come here to United States. And I never wanted to stop the relationship, not because I coming here to USA. So we decide to continue with the relationship because the objective of coming here was only to stay 1 year, save money, go back to Mexico and start my master's degree and open a big business there. That was the plan, but nothing happened like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
So that those are very interesting things, but I'm just thinking about some lessons that probably went through in that process. One, not only again, that whole planning piece, but also your determination. You had to figure out how to save the money. You had to figure out how to get all of these documents in place. You had to do a lot of legwork and also a lot of very good organizing for you to actually orchestrate the whole thing and come to this country, like just on your own, do all this. So I think that that's really incredible. And it tells me how you are good, like what you said, when you're determined, you're going to go and you're going to do it. Now, I'm thinking about like then in that whole process, what were some of the lessons, right? Like some of the biggest lessons that have come from adapting to a new culture, because now you've entered a new
yeah,
culture while balancing, because you had to do the child care, because you were
yes,
coming as an au pair, so you knew, hey, you're gonna have to deal with childcare, education, because you want to continue your studies and your own goals. Because at the end of the day, the job has its own issues. That is a job, right? But you have your personal life. So how do you what are the lessons that you've gotten through this whole process that you feel like, what, I've grown this way, that way, or the other? I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't been an au pair, and I also haven't been in Mexico. Like, I haven't done any of these things. Your story is very unique, but also
thank you.
your determination.
Well, this stage of my life to be an au pair, which was 1 year and a half, was really challenging. Like, it's not all pink, like they told you.
Of course, I would
It's,
imagine that's why I mentioned, like, what were the
yeah,
lessons of adapting, right? Because there's also that piece that at the end of the day, you're coming into a new culture. So I'm just curious, like how did you like tell me a little bit about that, like what was going through your head, but also adapting, this
yeah,
piece of adaptation, because there are many people that come here from different places to the US, but they may not fully work on that
yeah.
adapting process.
Okay, I'm talking about the adaptation. When I was a kid, as I mentioned before, I come to USA a lot of times as visiting, and I really like United States. Like I have
Okay.
this visual world, like what is USA? So I have a touch with the country. But when I arrived to this new family, they were from England, so a totally new culture, and it was hard to adapt because I was taking care of four kids. So that was
Got it.
a lot, different ages. So it was hard to keep them all together because different needs.
Right.
And the food was really hard to adapt to because
It's a
they had,
different culture.
yeah, different culture and then different schedules to eat. In Mexico, we eat like our dinner is at 10, 9 o'clock. Here is like 6, 7. I was like starving in the middle of the night. And that's not your house, that's not your home. You live in the attic. So it's like, no, I don't feel comfortable enough to go walk and go to the kitchen and prepare something to eat. So a lot of times I sleep with a lot of hungry, but I have to handle it because that was my job and that was my decision to be there. So that kind of things were really hard. But the good thing is this program give you the opportunity to connect with other people, which are other au pairs. They having the same experience as you, they're from the same country as you or different other countries. So you have them to share all this experience and what's going on every day in your life. So that's a good thing that the program has. So I found a
Mhm.
really good friends, and I think I finally adapt fully to the program because my friends. Because I was like, oh, I'm not the only one. There's a bunch of girls having good experiences, bad experiences, but at the end, we all decide to be here and be part of the program. So just keep doing it, and one day it's gonna end. So you're gonna be fine. And having that support was the big adaptation. I mean, my adaptation was because that big support of the friends.
Awesome. So, looking at that, I guess one of the lessons there was really to build your community, to build a
Hmm.
community of people who are engaged in similar things as you are, to strengthen you when those moments of difficulty may come, or when you're feeling like, hey, am I doing this in the right way? Or, the vision, how is that going? And so you had a few friends that you were able to
Yeah.
connect with. Sorry, I moved my
Yeah.
camera by mistake. I clicked the button. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. I
It's
clicked it,
okay.
but I've been here. I'm sorry. Sometimes that happens because my the computer, by the way, is this is all through Zoom. So it happens that if you click on the system, because it's
Hmm.
digital, that the touch base, it- so I did that. I'm sorry about that. So let me continue back here to just kind of, after that au pair experience, right? You transition into the administrative roles that have in New Jersey, where you also did some stuff working in supporting education and career training for others, and I mean, how was that transition for you, coming straight from a totally different background, right? Like being an au pair
Yeah.
had nothing to do with this, um, from the cultural exchange to this professional reinvention, because now you're going into that realm of more administrative service, education, like it's a totally different level of work. So
Hmm.
tell me a little bit about that. How did that go?
Okay, so I end up with my program, and then this last family want me to stay with them for longer. So they offer me a different path of having a visa, and that visa will give me the permanent residency. So at that moment, I was okay, that's my sign. I have to stay in this country. I really love the country. I really like the change and the lifestyle. I got my friends here. In that time, my boyfriend was here in the United States too. So I was, this is for me. I say yes to that process. So when I decide to start this process, I had to change my visa and I get a student visa. So in that
Oh,
time,
I
I
see.
was fully time student, full-time student, and I went to English school. That's why I start with all this process, and then the school offered me that job, the assistant administrator.
Which is
So
awesome.
yeah, from nowhere, I just was a regular student there, and one day
Right.
um, the, ay, se me olvidó la palabra. Um,
A career advisor?
yeah, the director of the school.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she came to me and told me, I saw a lot of skills in you, and I would love to work with us, to be our staff, and
That's
manage some
awesome.
things about social media. And I say yes. That was like a miracle. Like, yeah, I wanted to do this. I wanted to come back to my field and
Right.
do something about administration, the thing that I like. So yeah, that's how I started that job, and I love it. I really enjoy a lot. And well, finally, I decide just to end up with the process with the family because it was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Really, no, it wasn't something that I thought was gonna be the process to get the green card is extremely hard. And
Yes.
under their conditions, I was not happy enough to stay there for longer than 3 years. So that's why I decide to put my happiness first, to put myself first, and follow what I want. Um,
Yeah, makes
yeah, like
sense. Makes sense because I from what I'm understanding, right? Because when I checked out a little bit of your background and resume and all that, like you done marketing, the student recruitment, event coordinator, all these different jobs under this type of position that allowed you to basically rediscover these strengths and your purpose and, more tied into the doing of these activities that require also a different type of collaboration, like
yeah.
organizational skills and communication and just interacting with people, which was more of what you kind of wanted to
Mhm.
be doing. So I can see how that shift, of course, was going to be like a huge motivator, especially if now you had like a job, right? And so it makes
Yeah.
sense. Now, I mean, what do you believe makes someone thrive in a multicultural workplaces? Because now you've had all these experiences, people from different countries, deal with different students from different places, been in different locations in the US, all of these different things. Like, what do you believe makes someone thrive in a multicultural workplaces now that you've had to deal with also learning the language, different languages, different everything?
Mm,
Like, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think made you try just try and thrive both? Because anybody else would have been like, I'm gonna give up, and you didn't. You're like, no, I'm just gonna stop with this family because I don't think this is working out. Like that takes a lot of strength.
yeah, I don't know, like maybe because I have more value to myself, and I know I can do more, and I know my capacity is more than be just there. I know it. I always knew that I'm called for something big, and I love to connect with people. And that I think that what me stay for a long time in places maybe that I don't want to be, or I was not really happy, but I stay there because I care about the people. Because
Right.
at that time I was like, they're helping me. So I want to stay because they helping me, I helping them. So I'm gonna grab the thing that I want. But then I realized like sometimes you have just to ignore people around you and focus on you first. Because
No, but
if
yeah, I
you
get it.
lost yourself and if you don't know where are you and what you want, you're not going to survive. Like I have to reconnect with myself to keep going. And being in that place was like, no, I feel so disconnected. I lost myself completely. So I didn't like to feel that way, because
No,
I
I
know
get
I
it.
was so valuable for the world. Like there have to get out and then see the world outside with other perspective and start um, having these dreams again of what I want and what I want to be, and connect with again with people, because in these years I've been here I met a lot, a lot of people from around the world, and I'm so amazed because they have a lot of experiences to share with me and help me to grow. And I love just to connect with people, but I have to have this limit. Who's the people who's helping me to grow, or who's the people who's here just to stop me? And I thought that family was kind of limiting me. So I just get my bag and my broken heart and say goodbye. I don't want to, but I have to. So goodbye, good luck, and I continue with my path. And
Yeah. it takes courage. I mean, I hear you, and walking away from the whole visa process, like many would be like, "Oh, that's the dream opportunity. Is she nuts? Is she
Yeah,
crazy?" But I mean, you realize, right? Like your mental health was more important. Your peace was more important because you couldn't even do this job to the level of excellence that you would have wanted to because you love the children, you love the people. But then if you're not feeling well, then something's not working out. It's like a toxic relationship. I mean,
yeah,
that decision, I'm sure, must have been both like freeing because you're like, okay, I'm out of this situation, but at the same time, terrifying because now you have to kind of like, whoa, I'm walking into something, that is unknown. But hearing you, the clarity came when you were like, you know what? Even though it's a difficult choice, my well-being matters so that I can continue forward. Because if not, I'm not going to. So, for those who are listening, the key here is that you may find yourself in situations where, like she was, stuck, feeling stuck. But the choice that was sound and that is generally most sound is to choose yourself, to realize, wait a minute, I need to be okay. If I'm not okay, nothing else is going to be okay after that. And I think that that was very wise of you, to be able to get a handle on yourself and realize, okay, I'm not well. I am falling into some depressive state here. This is not working. My
yeah.
mind is not okay. My body's not okay. I'm not feeling happy. There were many other things that were not letting you thrive in there. So, I mean, kudos to you for being so strong.
Thank you. And then, well, things are getting better. Because this is pretty recent. This happened in February, so it's kind of pretty recent. But I get married after that when I just quit with the family and we stopped the negotiation. I got married with the love of my life, with this boyfriend that I had since university. And I think all these years it's been like, well, being an au pair and then be with this family like 4 years. I was so focused, just like this for my green card. No seeing anything, no feel anything, just focus, green card, green card, green card. And then when I get married and I had time for me, well, my mind start feeling this freedom to think about, to overthinking, I would say. And is when I got um, a really hard situation with myself because I got in a really big depression that I'm been through. Because yeah, it's something that you really wanted, and then because your decision, you just lost something that you've been fight for it. So I think that was the breakdown that sent me to the depression. But talking a little deeper with my therapist about this been for a long time. This is like it's been like for 5 years that I been struggle with my mental health. In the beginning, when I just start as an au pair with this English family, there in the precise moment I step in the house, my depression started. But I wanted to keep it quiet, like ignore it, just keep aside, keep going, ignore how you feel. It doesn't matter. That's just something in your mind. Continue, go for it. But I think that's the worst thing you can do because one day you're going to collapse. And that day happened just when I get married. Um, and I'm working on it because it was a really hard to accept what was going on in my life and what's been going on all these years because I feel like I lost my purpose because my purpose was get the green card and that was not a really happy purpose to have.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
no, there's more in the world, more in the life, not just a paper. And that document that cannot be your everything because you're more than that. So when I accept that, I just start with my husband, and he's been by my side, helping me, passing through this process, which is really hard, painful, but necessary. Necessary. Not right now. I'm the process to heal, to reconnect with myself, to discover again what I want. Because I always been that kind of person who knows what I want and goes for it. But right now, I feel pretty lost, because all this experience that I recently had. So I'm in that path to rediscover and to look deeper in life, not just material things. Be more awareness about what really matters, because life is
Mhm.
pretty short
It's
and you
pretty
cannot
short.
waste it doing things you don't like and you don't want and being places that you're not happy. Not talking about relationships, jobs, uh, careers, everything. If you're not happy, you don't have to stay there because life is not about that. Life is much better than these little thingies and uh, traps in your mind. So I'm just want to tell to everyone to don't feel ashamed of what they're feeling or what they're thinking. Just do that step to want to heal for yourself. Like put yourself first to keep going with life. And that's what I'm doing right now, discovering a lot of new things.
I love it.
And yeah, right now I'm pretty happy because I discovered what I really want to do, talking about career path. Um, I always love to organize people and organize events. So I want to be an event project manager. That's
Which
my
is
goal.
awesome. That's awesome.
And yeah, I will start my master's degree in fall 2026. And yeah, that's my
Awesome.
next goal to achieve.
I love it. I love it. I think it's awesome because now you have a vision towards something that you're walking in into as you look into your career. And I'm sure other aspects of your life are going to start becoming clear as you continue that path forward. But I can see that therapy has been fundamental. I can see that
Mhm,
having faith in knowing that is a moment in time, that this is not a forever situation, and also having a husband that supports you, right? Because you have a partner that understands that all of these experiences have had a lot of damage, but also you need a process of healing from all that. And just the whole journey, as you're willing to be vulnerable and share, hopefully other people don't think that, this is easy for you to do, because it takes courage. Again, you're very courageous at every point. Everything you've done has required a lot of courage, and you've shown up for it. So hopefully you also give yourself credit, in terms of realizing that in that becoming, you have had to do all those reps, right? Like you're
mhm,
dropping, give me 20, and you're dropping and giving them 20, and
mhm,
I think that speaks to your character and your determination, right? Like one of those qualities that you mentioned. So what I'm happy also to hear is that you're in that new chapter where you're actually contemplating possibilities. So for people who are listening, contemplating possibility when you've gone through difficulties or you've gone through mental health issues and challenges that have made you feel depressed or upset or sad or lonely, to see how shifting and making a goal for yourself, like for Karen, has been, oh, I'm going to go ahead and pivot and improve my career and let go of all the things that I don't really want in my life. But it's a new chapter. You're building a new life. You're focusing on your career. You're looking to build these communities with people that you enjoy having around you. And so success is a matter of achieving all those. And I can see that for you because that's why you could even smile,
Mhm.
you know?
Thank you.
So I love that you're sharing that. I have a question in terms of mentoring. Do you have people who have embraced you at the university then and supported you, guided you? Like in terms of now that you're going to go into this new phase of event project managing process, have you
Mm,
looked into that or anybody at the university guiding you in your application process and all that?
Um, well, no specific like teacher or someone is guiding me to that. I just knew that that's what passions me.
Ah, okay.
Because I've been doing a big research, like focus, Karen, what you want, what you like, what you want to be. Like all these questions are in my brain all the time.
Which is great.
And then I just sit down, have a paper, and just
Mhm.
all my research. And I start doing like, okay, if I work for someone, who could be? And I just start thinking in Pinterest, you know, the app,
Uh-huh.
and I would love to work for them because it's a really creative company. And then I say, okay, but what I will do for them, I love to organize like everything. You give me something and I will do it, everything. Just talk with
Awesome.
people, talk, see the price, whatever it is, just tell me and I will do it. So I say,
It's
yeah, that's
awesome.
like event planning. But then I say, yeah, but it's not just planning. I want to see all around. So yeah,
Yeah.
that led
So
me to project management.
yeah, because you want to be able to be in charge of the whole thing. And that's, I mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I think you'll be great because you're excited about it and you want to approach it and you have the creativity for sure. Now I'm thinking if you could speak to your younger self, right? Now, this young lady, this little girl in growing up in Zacatecas with all these big dreams, like what would you tell her?
Oh, I would tell her to be patient, to slow down, take a big breath before you take decisions. Everything is gonna be all right. You're doing great. Just don't rush. Time is perfect when God's want it. So be calm.
Wow. Karen, your story is such a beautiful reminder, right? That the path to success doesn't always follow a straight line. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's the detours that bring us home to ourselves. So I want to thank you for sharing your honesty, your courage, and your voice with us today. And to everyone listening, remember this: your dreams are allowed to evolve, your
Yeah.
peace is worth protecting, and your story is still being written. So, if today's episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs encouragement on their own path of growth. Follow us on YouTube at Speak Lead Connect. And as always, keep speaking, leading, and connecting with others. Thank you so much.
Thank you.